You ever notice how the only guy in ZZ Top without a beard turned out to be the one holding the whole thing together? In a band known for massive facial hair, hot rods, and gritty Texas swagger, Frank Beard stood out by not standing out. No long beard, no flashy solos, no frontman energy. Just him, sitting at the back of the stage, keeping everything in check with a pair of sticks and that dead-on timing that never wavered. He was the quiet one. The guy who didn't give interviews, didn't chase the spotlight, and didn't seem to care whether or not the world noticed him. But here's the thing. If Frank ever stopped drumming, the whole ZZ Top engine would have sputtered out long ago. That's the kind of power he had. And the crazy part? He never had to say a word to prove it. Let's roll it all the way back. Frank Beard was born in 1949 in a small Texas town called Frankston. He didn't come from a long line of musicians. He wasn't raised in a flashy showbiz family. His upbringing was middle-class, suburban, and steady. And maybe that's where the rhythm started. Life moved slow, but it moved steady. And that suited Frank just fine. Even as a kid, music was his thing. While most boys were obsessed with baseball or fixing up cars, Frank was banging out beats on desks, tin cans, and anything that made a sound. His classmates knew, if there was a song on the radio, Frank was tapping along with it. Not just for fun. This was serious. Rhythm wasn't just a hobby. It was wired into him. By high school, Frank was already playing in local bands around Texas. Groups like the Hustlers, the Warlocks, and eventually American Blues. That last one is important, because that's where he met Dusty Hill, the bassist who'd become his lifelong bandmate. The two of them were rough around the edges but had something most bands didn't. Chemistry. That locked-in groove you can't fake. And yeah, before they made it big, Frank and Dusty had a weird detour. They joined a group that pretended to be the British band The Zombies. They toured under the name, fooled some crowds, and definitely ruffled some feathers. Looking back, Frank called it embarrassing. But even that odd chapter sharpened his skills and gave him what every great drummer needs: pressure. Then in 1969, everything changed. Billy Gibbons, fresh from another band called the Moving Sidewalks, was looking to start something new. He met Frank through a connection, and Frank brought in Dusty. Just like that, the lineup clicked. Guitar, bass, and drums. No excess. No distractions. Just three guys who knew how to play. That same year, ZZ Top was born. Frank was just 20. Youngest in the band. Least flashy. But he took on the role that really mattered. The foundation. He wasn't there to show off. He was there to lock in. And that's exactly what he did. Their first album came out in '71. It didn't explode overnight, but it set the tone, blues rock soaked in Texas soul. Then came 1973. The album Tres Hombres. And the song? La Grange. You know the one. Dirty riff. Simple vocals. And underneath it all? That hypnotic beat. Tight. Relentless. Pure Frank Beard. It was the kind of drumming you felt in your chest. From then on, ZZ Top was off and running. And through it all, Frank never tried to steal attention. Billy brought the riffs. Dusty brought the swagger. Frank brought the glue. He played like a guy driving an old truck down a desert road. No speeding, no swerving, just pure control. But behind that control, something darker was brewing. In the late '70s, the band was touring like crazy. Big money, big crowds. Frank later admitted that in 1977, during one of their biggest tours, he made about $72,000 and blew every cent on drugs. It started with LSD, then cocaine, eventually heroin. He once called heroin a vacation for the mind, but in reality it nearly ended everything. He wasn't missing beats on stage, but behind the scenes he was slipping, falling asleep in rehearsals, vanishing before shows. Recording sessions dragging on way longer than they should have. By 1979, it all came crashing down. The band went on a quiet hiatus. No big announcements. But the truth? Frank checked into rehab. And for the next few years, he disappeared from the spotlight completely. But here's the part that separates Frank from most. He didn't just survive. He rebuilt. Slowly. Carefully. Privately. He went back to therapy. Focused on his health. Started drumming again from the ground up, as if he had something to prove. Not to the world.